Alright guys, now I'm back with Mr. Piet Wilhelm over here at Triton Fight Center. And I just want to first thank Piet, for letting me come in. I've always been welcome here. I've trained here a lot in the past year, so I've had a lot of fun here. So now I just want to go ahead and ask you a couple questions. And I guess my first one is, let's go ahead and talk about everything that you've done in Jiu-Jitsu, in the sense of more or less your credentials, your kind of Jiu-Jitsu story, how you started out getting into this sport, and where you ended up and where you're at now.
Well, I started out a little bit as a karate student, as a matter of fact. So I was doing the whole dojo-ru karate system, and I eventually got a black belt in that. And I wanted to expand my wings a little bit more. So then I got into boxing when I was in high school, and I boxed at the Marine Military Academy, which is a military high school in Harlingen, Texas. My son currently attends that high school, and he's trying to, basically work into those footsteps. But after I graduated the military high school, I went into the military academy, and had a couple of roommates, friends in college. They were all doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and here I am, with a little bit of a karate background and this boxing background. I just thought I knew everything. I thought that I couldn't get beat. So this is back in 1994, and so I started wrestling around with some of these guys, and I'm thinking, I just got to pin this guy down or something like that. But before I know it, I had my leg over my head and arm around my throat, and I'm tapping out into submission to a guy that is 115 pounds, and at the time I was about 145, 165, very lean, good shape. So I was sold right there at the spot. I didn't look into the whole Gracie system. I wasn't looking into the whole UFC. That was all unheard of to me at the time, because being in a military high school, military college, I was kind of, segregated away from all of that. So all that, I was kind of unaware of all that, and my priorities were a little bit different at the time. But I instantly got hooked, and at that point I started my mixed martial arts career. Started working on a little bit of BJJ, but it was more along the ends of the no-gi side. And then when I went into the military, we had very much of a mixed martial arts program that the Marine Corps was offering, and but it was very limited on the knowledge that the Marine Corps was offering as far as on the sports side. And I was hooked on the sports side because the Marine Corps martial arts program teaches a lot of striking, defense, weapon retention, handcuffing procedures, but not so much the fun part, which is, we all know, it's wrestling around, rolling around, tapping out your training partner, your training partner tapping you out. So I was looking around, I was stationed at the time in North Carolina, seeing what was available, and what was available at the time was American Jiu-Jitsu. So I started on American Jiu-Jitsu, and I got a black belt in American Jiu-Jitsu, which is basically different lineage, different system, a lot of no-gi stuff, but also a lot of gi stuff, but a lot of stuff primarily no-gi. And from that point till just last year, it's been about 15, 16 years now, to where I eventually did just receive my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Master Renato Tavares from American Top Team, who's a Carlson Gracie lineage. But throughout my time in the Marine Corps, I was hopping around from different Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. I had a flavor of Gracie Baja. I had a taste of Lloyd Irving's system, which by all means, Master Lloyd Irving, the way he presents things is really well, and that's why he's got a lot of world-class guys out there right now that are competing. So I had a taste of both of those gems, and when I got out of the Marine Corps and relocated to Tulsa, Oklahoma, recruited a guy named Henrique Stefani, who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Emerson Navarro, who is a black belt under Renato Tavares. So it all just fell hand in hand, keeping the same lineage, keeping the same family. I was eventually presented with my blue belt under Henrique, and before Henrique went back to Brazil, he promoted me to purple belt. Then Renato awarded me my brown and then my black. And which, getting a black belt under either one of the guys, either it being Enrique or Renato or Emerson, is a huge honor and a huge privilege, because those guys are, just one generation, 2 generations after Carlson Gracie. So, which right now the family tree basically goes Carlson Gracie, who's passed away, Renato Tavares, then me, and then my students. So it's very nice being close to the top master in the sport. And if anybody does their homework on Renato, they'll find that the guy is a phenom. He's a terror. So he's phenomenal. But to make a long story short, that's about as quickly as I can try to sum it up.
I know, we could be here all day talking about it, our stories, and how we've
got like 15 years right there. So.
All in 3 minutes.
Exactly.
And I guess my next question is I know you and Summer both were in the Marine Corps. You served for the United States. And I guess the question that I have for you is, how did that really influence how you train now or how you see things now? Because that's a great accomplishment. That being in the Marine Corps and serving for armed services for that amount of time, and being very passionate about that, because you two are the 2 most passionate Americans that I've ever met. And so that's something else that I just wanted you to go ahead and touch on, and how has that shaped your training now and really your life in general?
Well, the luxury of being in the military and also hunting around to seek self-improvement and going to different schools, different academies and train, is that you get to, you're not really confined to a contract, and you're able to see what all these different schools have to offer, these different academies have to offer, and you keep what you feel is good, you do away with what you feel is not good, and that's everything from the way the facilities ran, the characters that are in the gym, the way the program is being ran as far as the teaching, the training, and putting together some of the, actually about 90% of the structure of the way the Marine Corps runs things has been a huge influence on how I run this facility. And, everything that we do is very structured, very organized when it comes to the training. And, what we don't make up for in technique, we do make up for it in conditioning and speed, agility, athleticism. I got some of the best athletes that compete. And they're great athletes because they're dedicated, they show up and they train, and all I do is I just provide them with what we're doing for that day, and if they show up, it's just going to make them better. It's going to suck at the moment, but it's
again, I can vouch for that personally.
But again, it does make them better, so everything from sometimes our morning warm-ups will be flipping a 200-pound tire, to sledgehammers on the tire, to jumping up and down on boxes, sprints, and
rather tall boxes, by the way.
Really tall boxes. Pull-ups, ring dips, climbing ropes, which is a lot of the non-traditional BJJ warm-up. The traditional BJJ warm-up is a light jog around the mat, a little bit of a sweat. You do some mat drills, some drills on the walls, stretch. And then there's the technique, and that's fine for a beginner, when you're throwing that rod out there and that line to try to get the individual hooked onto Jiu-Jitsu. But where I see my students grow the most is when they're doing my regular classes and they're hitting the mats hard.
Awesome. The next question I want to go ahead and touch on real quick is, I know this, as Triton Fight Center here in Tulsa, I know you've grown several times, and now you're in this new awesome facility, which we saw earlier. And I guess my big question is, how has, growing from place to place and seeing the size of your family grow here in Oklahoma, how has that really influenced you to keep pushing to even try to grow further?
I don't think I want to grow any further. This facility is, you look behind us, and there's still some beyond past the camera. This facility is phenomenal. It's a 7,500 square foot facility that is cleaned twice a day, and it's everything from the mats, the gear, the equipment, we do our best to keep everything sanitized, and so that the next person that comes in and they look at the place and they get impressed by looking at the place. Just the place itself sells it. The next selling point of the place is students getting on the mat and training and dealing with the other students, the atmosphere, and like you said earlier, the family. Because this school, unlike other schools, that I've experienced, this place is very much a family atmosphere. The friendships that you make, is
point in fact.
Exactly. The friendships that you make in like what I like to call my world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is irreplaceable. I can't replace it. And it is awesome. And we started out at a Boys and Girls Club in South Carolina, and that's where we just saw that desire, that love to show kids and women, and which I don't teach the kids anymore. But it's the kids. The kids are great, and when you see a little 4-year-old hit an armbar, and it's so technical and so smooth, honestly, the first time I saw that, it almost brought tears to my eyes.
I know exactly what you mean.
And so from there, when we relocated to Tulsa, Oklahoma, we were teaching out of my garage, and it was a very, very small mat space. You could maybe comfortably have, you could only comfortably have 2 people rolling at a time. And before you would run into a wall or into the refrigerator or into the dirty laundry bag, so that's how we started. And I know this sounds very much like the way that Gracie started out in California, but it's the same story here for us. And from there we went to a 1,500 square foot facility. The numbers on the mat were about 15 on a busy night. We went to a 3,000 square foot facility. A busy night was maybe 25 people on the mat. Now 15, 20. I'd much rather, hey, let's pull up a couch, a chair, and watch a video.
It's just not enough.
It is just not enough. And it's yet to happen. Because our average night here in this facility is anywhere from 50 to 70 people on the mat on an average night. Our slowest nights, we may have 30 to 40 people throughout the day. And the mat space at the time maybe 30 people. And that's on our slow days. So, do I want to grow more than this? I think I'll get gray very fast if I do that. But so I think I've maxed out right now. I'm comfortable where we're at. I know almost all my students by name, and it's hard because
which is impressive.
Because I have 250 plus students right now. So we've switched to basically, I know this guy is ready, let's promote him to, all right, this guy has done his time as this belt, let me do a performance evaluation checklist on the guy, or the student, or the gal, because our numbers are really high, and I don't want to leave anybody behind. The guys that are competing, I'm able to evaluate them right there on the spot. But when I got 250 guys on the mat,
it's a little hard to do.
It's a little bit harder to do. So going through a syllabus, a checklist, a testing curriculum is honestly the fair way of doing it. If the student's not mastering the technique, he can remediate and test on the next testing period. So, but I do hold my students now to that standard. They got to do the minimum amount of time at each belt before they can test out or request a test for promotion. Of course, when they get to a brown, the purple and brown belt level, the numbers are a lot smaller, so I'm able to eyeball these guys a lot better. But definitely at the white, the green, the blue belt, I try to make sure that these guys do their time at that belt for one, so they have that credibility when they go to the next level, and not just because they're able to memorize a test. So.
And I guess real quick, this is going to be a quick question I have for you. I know just recently, back in October of last year, Hanato promoted you to Faixa Preta. You received your black belt, which I was very happy to hear because I've trained with him quite extensively in the past, and it was very overdue. And I know I've written that and I've said that many times. Definitely the most overdue belt. I guess since you received your black belt, has your mindset changed, or have you had anything change? I mean, I know you guys still train hard, or what was that feeling like of getting up there and finally obtaining, even though the road just starts there?
The craziest thing about Renato Asser is his way of promoting his black belts. He has a very unique way of promoting every black belt a little bit differently. He has a special bond with every one of the guys that he's promoted to black belt. I'm his number 10 black belt that he's promoted. And keep in mind, Renato's about to receive his 5th degree. And like I said, he's only promoted 10 guys to black belt. And so it's a huge honor for one. And the feeling is just almost indescribable. It's the greatest feeling in the world, but at the same time, it's almost like you're starting all over again. When you're a white belt, you're sitting there, you're trying to keep everything tight, you're trying to learn, you're trying to play it safe, you're trying not to get tapped out, you're trying to survive. When you become that blue belt, that purple belt, that competitive comes out, you don't want to tap, but yet you're a little bit more than likely to say, okay, you got the submission, let's move on. And by the time you become a brown belt, it's okay to tap. If I get tapped by a black belt, I got tapped by a black belt. If I got tapped out by a purple belt, well, it's because I've been working something new. By the time you're that brown belt, you're a little bit more humbled. You've been humbled quite a bit.
Which is true as well. I can vouch for that as well.
And by the time you become a black belt, it's almost like being a white belt all over again, because you don't want to tap. You don't want to tap to this brand new guy who's been walking the gym, even though you're working a new aspect of your game, something that you may have not been drilling, something that may be new to you again, or something that you may have hit a long time ago that you just haven't been practicing as much. So, you don't want to tap, but at the same time, it's once you've been doing jiu-jitsu for over 15 years, it's kind of like, you got it, good job. It's almost like a whole relearning process all over again. And it's very much true. They say that when you get your black belt, it starts all over again, and very much so. It feels like it started all over again, but we'll see. I've been training hard for the Houston Open, which is right around the corner. I've been hitting CrossFits 2-3 times a day, and I've been hitting the mats pretty conservatively to where I'm not hurting myself. And I hope to come back with at least 2 gold medals. I hope. You can only hope for the best and fall somewhere in between.
That's true. So, I guess that leads into my next question, and obviously, with what I really like to talk about, we've actually talked about this quite extensively in the past when I was here, different things like that, and that is the jiu-jitsu lifestyle and how it differs. Yeah, exactly. And how it differs. Learn from the source right here in our background, and how it differs from many different other things, what you see in different situations in different other sports. But our sport really becomes a lifestyle. We've talked quite extensively about that and what that lifestyle is. And I guess I want to just, start off by saying, what do you see as the jiu-jitsu lifestyle? Or because I know for a fact you live it very much so, and I've seen it, and I've lived it here, and it helped me by being here to figure out what that definition was. And I just, quick, what's your definition of living a jiu-jitsu lifestyle, and how do you see that every day here at Triton?
Jiu-jitsu lifestyle is honestly, in my opinion, commitment. Is being committed. People come to a jiu-jitsu gym, mixed martial arts gym, with a sense of goals. Either that goal is to get in shape, be part of a family, some bonding with those individuals, to learn some jiu-jitsu, some self-defense, and I provide that service. And the more individuals committed to it, the better they get at it. And along with that goes, like I said, a family, that atmosphere, getting in better shape, that sense of brotherhood, being able to go out and have a good time with your friends, which you meet in this community. we can go off on so many different ends as far as the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. But when I left the Marine Corps, it was that sense of brotherhood that got me into the Marine Corps. And I know some Marine Corps recruiter would probably try to use this, you know, but I joined the Marine Corps because I was looking for that sense of brotherhood. And when I see people coming to this gym, most of them are looking for that sense of brotherhood. They're looking for something to belong. And in the Tulsa Metroplex area, there isn't much. You know, it's not like I can pack up and go to the beach and go surfing, you know, go to the beach and hang out. Here, you're either, you know, rolling around the mat or going to the clubs. And, you know, before you know it, the clubs get kind of old. And so jiu-jitsu is the way to go. And the family that you get along with this is phenomenal. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I wanted to still have that same feeling. I wanted to have that feeling, that sense of brotherhood. You know, I missed that from the Marine Corps. So I kind of built that same atmosphere in just a different way. I run this facility the way I want to run it. If there's people I don't like, I show them the door. And usually it's followed by my foot. But
you've gotten better at that.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
You've gotten better at it.
You know, and there are other gyms in the area, and I will not hesitate to let other people know that. Go to other gyms, try other gyms out. But if you want to learn from the source, tryandfightcenter.com. You know, we are the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mixed martial arts school in this area. Yeah, there's other schools that opened up before we did as far as mixed martial arts is concerned, but we're the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mixed martial arts gym. The first true Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school in this area. So,
and now one of the only black belts in Oklahoma, let alone this area.
So if you want to learn from the source and for a good price, a reasonable price, come here. If you want to go to another place, a smaller gym, a little bit dirtier, pay a little bit more, feel free to shop around. I built this place and I run it as a hobby. I'm disabled from the military, so is my wife, and we could honestly shut doors today and live off what the military pays us. But the fact that we do this because we love it, and like I said earlier, you know, this is not a job to me. This is a hobby. It's what makes our mat so much busier. And my students see my passion and my love for jiu-jitsu and my care towards them. And I honestly think that, you know, when my students leave here every training day, they feel they got something out of it. And if a question was unanswered, it's because they failed to ask that question. But for the most part, I try to hit every student up when I'm walking around, making sure that the technique is being executed the way I taught it, and that they're getting that attention. And the fact that they feel they're getting that attention and that love, that sense of brotherhood, they're getting a taste of what I call my BJJ lifestyle.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, just so you know, I've been here myself personally. I've spent a summer here training. I come up here continuously. Out of everywhere in Oklahoma, this would be the place that I would come to train. I come here before every one of my tournaments to train. I love this place to death. It is my extended family, as I like to call them. They are amazing up here. You know, like you said, like all you've heard from Pete, they live the jiu-jitsu lifestyle here, and I can't give a better example of what it is to live the jiu-jitsu lifestyle than bringing somebody here and having you experience this. So I guess I just want to add here, if you're in this area, if you're looking at training, there are plenty of schools in the area, but only one Triton. I guess the website, TritonFightCenter.com. Go ahead and check that out as well, or you can just call up here and talk to Pete, 918-25-CHOKE. I got it wrong earlier. So, you know, and I guess I just want to thank Pete for taking the time, you know, giving me the home up here to train and taking the time to talk with us here. So, if there's anything you want to add?
Hit the mats hard, say no to drugs, commitment, dedication, train is only going to make you a world champion.
There you go, guys. Have a good one.